Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to make this really cute gift card wallet. It's so fun, so easy, and affordable too, using supplies from our sponsor, Paper Mart. You can find them online at www.papermart.com, your source for packaging and more. And here we have a little Velcro closure. Open it up and there's all these little pockets you can stick gift cards in. What I really like is that you can actually put them in with their little store envelopes that they come in, the little store card holders. And I like that because I like to put a receipt in when I buy a gift card for somebody, because you never know, somebody might have rung it in wrong. At least you have proof that you paid for it. And so that's what I like to do. But the reason I have so many little pockets in here is because this time of year, end of school time, Christmas time, we have these people in our lives, if we have children, that do so much for the community and so much for our kids, our scout leaders, our teachers, and it's nice if we can get together as a group and all contribute like a little gift card or something and then hand it to them in one neat little package like this. So I've done this before for our scout leaders and it just worked out really well. So I'm going to show you how to make that today. So the first thing you're going to do is take a 5" by 12" piece of paper, and I'm going to show you how you can use a regular label die to cut a little flap here. And all you have to do, you set it on there. You may put a little piece of tape in there to hold it in place, just there at the end, okay? So that's the edge it's going to cut. So to make it cut, so it only cuts that edge, you put it on a cutting pad as normal, but then when you put it through the machine, you put the second cutting pad just over the area you want it to cut and crank it through, and then it will cut just like this. So then all you have to do is take a pair of scissors and trim out. I just like to add like kind of just a little curvy cut there just to make it kind of match what I already have there. And that's all there is to it. So a very, very easy way to get that look on the edge of your envelope or your flap. The next thing you will need are envelopes, and I'm using 3 envelopes here, and that's going to give me 6 pockets. So what you want to do is seal the envelope shut. Just close them up like that. Do that for each envelope. Then you want to trim off the ends just so that you're kind of cutting through that edge. You can do that on a paper trimmer or just with a pair of scissors. Do that to each side of each envelope. Now just line them up and fold the stack in half. So see, that's how your 3 envelopes turn into 6 pockets. All right, just pinch it down good. It'll stay once we get it together. And now what we're going to do is punch a little slot on the edge of each. Now if you don't have a punch, you can totally use it just like this. You don't have to do this step, but I think it makes the gift cards easier to remove, and it also makes them a little fancier looking. So to line these up, you can use a die cut too if you have die cuts and you don't have punches, but a punch is super duper easy. Take your the first panel on your stack there, and just center up your punch like that, and you want to have it upside down so you can see through the window. Give it a punch, and then bring the next one up. Keep them lined up. And then again, you can look through the window. You can see where the second piece of paper is. Slide it up to meet that one. Get another punch and do that all the way through the stack. All right, our envelopes are all folded and punched. And now we're going to make the little card folio for them. And it's super easy. What you want to do is make a score mark at about the spot where, just about, I would say about 1/4 inch above where the bend on the, kind of where your decorative edge meets your side. You want to make sure you have a nice substantial flap there. And then you want to score 4 inches from that mark. So I'm just going to count back 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And then you want to have a little bit of a gap, and I don't want quite 1/2 inch. And I have the old style scor-pal, so what I'm going to do is just kind of move it down to where I have about about 1/3 inch there. I'm going to score that there, and then I'm going to score 4 inches from that line, which would be down here at the 2 inch mark. You know, just basically what you're doing, you're scoring at wherever you make your first score for your flap here. Then you're scoring 4 inches from there. Then you're making a small gusset here for the bottom of your purse, and you're scoring 4 inches from there. And then you've got this little flap. Now this little flap's going to be folded back and glued down. It's just going to provide a little contrast for our the pretty decorative edge flap that we have. And it gives it a little bit more stability. So let's just glue that down. And then we're just going to fold up on the other score line so we have our cute little folio. So then we have something that looks like this. We have our little our little thing there. Now to make it stand out a little bit more, I'm going to use some ink. I'm just going to ink around the edge there, and that's really going to make it stand out. And I like to go along all the edges just to bring out the shape of our gift card holder, because it is kind of pretty and it's nice to accent that. Alright, we're going to set that aside and then take your signature made with the envelopes, and these envelopes are purchased in a bulk box of 250, and it's a standard invitation size, the size that we use the most often, and those are really handy to have on hand. Handy to have on hand, well, of course. And I'm going to punch about 1/2 inch from the edge right on that fold on each side. And I find it a little easier to do the envelopes and then to go in and do the folio. And then I'm going to put it right here on the folio and center it up and see exactly where those holes fall. And then I'm going to line my punch back up and I'm going to punch right through. And I'm using a crop-a-dile punch. If you don't have a crop-a-dile, you could use like an awl or something, some sort of piercing tool. I really like the crop-a-dile. I think if you have one, I would use it, and if you don't, it's a worthwhile investment, something you might want to think about getting at some point. Okay, we have our holes punched. Now it's time to put a little baker's twine through there, and I find it's easier if I can use a little crochet hook to pull my twine through. I am awful at threading needles or anything like that. I always tend to split my string when I do that, so the crochet hook makes it so easy. See how easy that is? And I want to hide my knot on the inside, but that's completely up to you. You can have the knot on the outside if you prefer. You can even tie it in a bow if you want on the outside. But I'm going to hide my knot on the inside and just pull that string right back up through. And just tie it in a double knot right here in the center. Easy as can be. And trim the ends. Of course, save your scraps, because you never know. I have a little video on making a cute little tag with your scraps. Keep your scraps in a jar. We'll have some fun projects to do with those. All right, now we need a handle for our little purse. So to do that, you're going to use your punch. You want to use your larger size punch, probably like the 1/4 inch or 3/8 size regular, you know, your standard hole punch. And about a 1/2 inch from the edge, you want to put a big hole in there. I did a little one. I'm going to have to go over that and do a bigger one. And then we're going to use some of this really nice jute twine, and I like it because it's actually quite soft and ropey. It reminds me of the type of yarn that we used to put in our hair back in the 70s or 80s. It was kind of the style back then. Well, that's what this jute reminds me of. It's got that, you know, nice rustic look. It's got a beautiful color, and it also has that fun look. I'm going to use a crochet hook again because I just am not very coordinated with with threading string through holes. Right through. It is pretty thick too, so you might need to like bend it or something to get it to go through. And just put a knot on the end, and you're going to do the exact same thing through the other hole. Okay, now that we have this knotted, we're just going to trim off our ends. I probably won't save these little trimmings. Those will probably actually go in the trash. There we go. And we have our little folio put together. Now we need a little bit of Velcro to hold the thing shut, and I really like this Sew On Velcro from Paper Mart. It's very affordable. It's so much less than buying it at the craft store. I think it's like, oh, a couple bucks for 2 rolls. You get both sides of the hook and loop, and I think that the not only is the Sew On cheaper, but it's more versatile, because when you've got the sticky back stuff, sometimes I haven't tried the Paper Mart stuff, but I know with other brands, sometimes the sticky stuff doesn't hold and you can't sew on it because it gums up your needle. So I really like the Sew On stuff, and Paper Mart's is such a great value. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to put some glue. I've got my 2 pieces stuck together. I'm going to put a little bit of glue, hot glue on one side. Hot glue bonds to paper very, very well. And then I'm just going to center this up kind of under the point on my flap, and then I'm going to put some hot glue on the back here, because I've got both pieces of my Velcro stuck together, and the reason I'm doing this is because I know they'll be lined up when we're all done. I'm going to carefully fold that down, and I'm just going to hold that while it sets up. While our glue is drying, we're going to go ahead and make some embellishments to go on the front of our little folio. And I've die cut these 2 little flowers. You could punch flowers, you could, you know, use some satin flowers, silk flowers, whatever you want. I'm going to use these, and I'm going to shape them a bit. So what I have here is just a couple pieces of fun foam that I glued together to use as an embossing mat. And I'm going to put my flowers down, and I'm simply using a couple of clay tools. These are ball end styluses, and I'm just pressing on the petals just to give them a little bit of dimension. I'm using the bigger ball on the larger flower and the smaller one on the smaller flower. See, it only takes a minute, and it really adds so much dimension to your project. So, you know, it's just one of those things. And you can make your own tools. You could find, maybe a bead that you could put on the end of a skewer that would work really good for that. The little flower, the little leaves here. I'm gonna make sure I have the green side down because it was a piece of double-sided pattern paper. And I'm just gonna roll this big tool on there just to give it a little bit of dimension. And then for a little depth of color, I've got my distress ink and a little bit of crushed olive. And I'm just going to ink it up a little bit on the edges. I'll be gluing it from the little tabs there, so I'm not going to worry about that. And a little bit of the red on this just to brighten it up. This is some barn door. And the reason I ink it after, this paper here is a little bit of a coated textured cardstock, and it tends to take a long time to dry, so it would make my pad all inky, and the ink would never dry in that foam, so I just wanted to ink it up after so I didn't get this on future projects. Alright, so I'm going to set this out of the way and grab our little folio that's all dry now, and I also want a few buttons to decorate this with. Now think about the stuff you have in your stash, different trims that you might have. Sky's the limit, you know, decorate it however you like. You could go with different themed paper, like if this was, if you want this to be a little more masculine, you could use, you know, like tulle themed papers or hunting and fishing or, you know, whatever you want. It's completely up to you, however you decide to theme it out. I like to try a few different colors and see what exactly I like the most. That's kind of cute. So fish through your buttons and find some buttons that you like. Alright, I found a couple buttons I like, and now I'm just going to glue on my flower embellishment here. So cute. And the other nice thing about it is that it can be reused. They could use this to gift cards to somebody else in the future, which is always nice when you're making something reusable. Be careful not to burn yourself. They can sneak through those buttonholes awfully quick. And I think I've got enough glue there just to push that little yellow one on top. Get my little leaves on there. Sneak a little glue under now that I've got it there. And that's how you finish up this project. I want to thank you so much for watching. You can find the materials I used at our sponsor's website, Papermart. You can find them online at www.papermart.com, where we make you look even better. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.